everybody, Nips Knits here, and in today's video I'll be showing you how to weave in your tail ends. So we don't want to be wearing our scarves out and about with these loose ends just dangling here, so let's go ahead and weave in these tail ends so that they're nice and secure in our scarf. You should have a couple of different tail ends throughout your scarf. You'll have one from the cast on, one from the cast off, and then a couple of tail ends based on when you added in new balls of yarn. First, I'll be showing you how to weave in one of these loose ends from either a cast on or a cast off edge. So, first things first, without further ado, let's go ahead and grab our tapestry needle and then take the tail end here and thread this through that tapestry needle. Bada bing, bada boom, I've just thread the yarn through my tapestry needle. Now I want you to look at your scarf and find the nearest knit column with upward facing V's. So my tail end is coming out over here on the right, so I'm going to be looking towards the right hand side. And I see some knit columns right here. So now let's find upward facing V's. I see one here, so this is my lucky winner of a column. As we can see, we have V, 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 all facing upwards. So I'm going to be focusing on this column for weaving in this tail end. To begin, I want you to insert your tail end so that it's right underneath this lucky column that we just identified, and pull the thread of yarn through. Now, to weave in the tail end, to begin, we'll only be focusing on the right-hand side of this V column. So, what you'll do is insert your tapestry needle up and around just the right-hand side of this V. Once you do that about 5 or 6 times, you can pull the yarn through. And you see how I pulled through, but it's causing a bit of tension on my scarf. So what you're actually going to do is play around with it a bit and make sure it's loose in there and it's not causing any tightness or tension. All right, great. Now for the grand finale, what you're going to do is insert the tapestry needle back down and around just the left-hand side of that same V. So we went up and around the right. We're going to come back down and around the left. Once again, you'll do this 5 or 6 times, and then you can pull the thread of yarn through there. I'm going to drop it off my needle, and again, play around with it a bit so that it's not causing any tightness or tension on your scarf. We want it to be invisible. We don't want our scarves behaving any sort of funky way because of this woven in end. But we don't want this little guy hanging around. So what I want you to do is then take your scissors and cut off any remaining yarn here. And then continue to play around with it to make sure that end isn't poking out. And there you have it. You've just woven in an end from a cast on or a cast off edge. Now what I want you to do is complete this, but for the other edge, and then we'll come back together to weave in the tail ends from when we added in new balls of yarn throughout our scarf. Moving right along, let's now weave in these tail ends from when we added in new balls of yarn. So when you added in a new ball of yarn, you should have a couple of tail ends here. You'll have a tail end from the new ball and a tail end from the old ball. So we'll have to weave in each one separately. Honestly, if you have a tail end that's a little long like this, I'm actually just going to cut it a bit to make it a bit shorter. A little more manageable to work with, but the process is really, truly just the same. So let's go ahead and take the tail end and thread it through the tapestry needle. All right, now we're thread through the tapestry needle and we are in business. So I'm focusing on this tail end here. Same process, we're going to find a knit column that has upward facing V's. So I'm focusing on this one here. So you can see we have upward facing V's, and it's very close to where my tail end is coming out of already. So once again, you are just going to take your tapestry needle and bring it around the right hand side of this knit column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good enough for me. Now let's pull it through. And same process. Let's loosen this up a bit, play around with it, so once again it's not pulling tight on your scarf in any way and making it look funky. We want this to be really truly invisible. So we've just come up and around the right hand side of the V. Now we're going to come down and around the left hand side of the same V. And pull the yarn through. And once again, play around with the scarf so that it's not tight and pulling your scarf in any way. And then we really can just cut the tail end and pull it a bit so that the tail end's not sticking out. And voila, you have just woven in another end. Now I want you to proceed by also weaving in any additional tail ends here that you have throughout your scarf using that same technique. And once that's all taken care of, congratulations, because you have officially completed your gorgeous scarf. I hope you are so proud of yourself and everything you've accomplished. I know knitting takes a lot of time, love, effort, and care, so really I hope you just take a moment to appreciate everything that you've done and accomplished throughout this knitting journey. I know I've enjoyed myself, so I hope you have as well. There is an optional tassel section if that interests you at all, included in the pattern, and what it really is just adding some fringe here at the bottom of your scarf if that piques your interest at all. But if you'd like to leave the scarf exactly as is, feel free to do so as well. You are the fashion guru here. It's your scarf, so absolutely your call. Also, I would absolutely love to see finished products of your scarf, so if you're comfortable doing so, please feel free to take a photo and either email me or you can post it on the reviews of this item and we can all share what our scarves look like with one another. All right, I hope everyone, like I said, really enjoyed themselves and is so proud of how much you've done here. And I hope we talk again soon, perhaps in another knitting pattern. All right, everyone, take care. Bye-bye.